Welcome to the beautiful Church of St. Margaret of Scotland. We're here today to give you a little overview of what you can expect when you come to celebrate your first reconciliation. So, I know you're going to be nervous because it's the first time that you've ever done this celebration of first reconciliation. So whenever you do anything for the first time, you're nervous. Think about the first time you rode a bike, right? And you might, not exactly know what you're going to do. So the whole point of this video is to make you a little bit comfortable by showing you this space and kind of the steps that you'll need to go through to celebrate the sacrament so that you can just enjoy the sacrament and not worry about all the details, okay? So the first thing you want to do is remember there are 5 steps to celebrating the sacrament, okay? If you can remember that in your mind, you just take your hand and we'll put it into a little fist here and go. The first one, you want to examine your conscience. So you want to know what to talk to the priest about before you even get to the church. So you can think of, did I lie to my mom and dad? Did I not do my homework? Or was I mean to my brothers and sisters? Those are sins that, we all commit sins. That's why we have the sacraments. Even the priests commit sins, Mrs. Hannaway commits sins, and we all go to confession to get God's grace. So you're going to want to know what you're going to talk to the priest about. What are your sins? So think about that. Examine your conscience, even before you get to the church. Now, when you get to the church, you're going to see the priest. You're going to confess your sins as honestly as you can. If you forget something, if you go, afterwards, I forgot to tell him that, know that God always knows the intention of your heart. And you can always say to the priest, and for all those sins that I may not remember, you can say that to him, okay? And then the priest is going to give you a penance. And I always like to remind you that penance isn't a payback and it's not punishment. Penance simply means to reconcile for your sins. So who are you reconciling with? You're reconciling with Jesus, who loves you and forgives you already, and also with the community. And that's why you go to confession to a priest, because he's head of the community, right? But who are you really talking to when you go to confession? You're talking to Jesus. The priest is there as a screen. He's there to mediate between you and Jesus. But the person that you're talking to is truly Jesus. That's one of the miracles of the sacrament. And there's nothing that you can say in a sacrament that the priest would ever tell anyone else. It's called the seal of the confessional. And so whatever you say is between you and Jesus. Okay? And then the priest will pray an act of contrition. That's how we standardly do it. But because we're going to do this as a penance service, we are going to pray the act of contrition before you go into the confessional, so you don't have to do that one-on-one with the priest. But I'd like you to know that you usually pray the act of contrition, because if you go to confession at another time, the priest might ask you, pray an act of contrition. Is it okay to have prayer cards or your prayer log with you when you go to your second sacrament of confession? Because you're like, I don't remember the prayer. Yes. Whether you're 7 or 70, whatever you need to have the most truthful, most fruitful confession, you should have that with you. If that's a prayer card, bring in a prayer card. Okay? If you need to write down your sins, you can write those down. Just make sure that you don't show anyone, because that's only between you and Jesus, right? And then you're going to accept your absolution, which is when the priest raises his hands above you and he blesses you. So in the past, I've had kids who, when the priest does that, think he's going in for a high five. I'm telling you, he's not. He's just raising your hand, so don't go in for that high five. But it is kind of like getting a high five from Jesus, because he's giving you his forgiveness and his blessing. Because the sacrament is a sacrament of healing. It's not a sacrament of judgment. He's there to say, I love you, I forgive you. Because some of the hardest words to say to each other, especially those we love, is, I'm sorry. But God needs to hear that from you so that he can give you his pardon and peace. And that's really what the sacrament is about. Okay, so when you come to the church, you're going to come through the front doors of the church. We're going to have ushers there. We're going to seat you in your pew. And on the armrest of your pew, you're going to have a little banner that has your name on it, okay? So you'll know where to sit, and there'll be people to do there. And then we're going to have a little reconciliation penance service. So we're going to do 2 readings. We're going to do an examination of conscience together. So if you need help right before to help remember things. And then we are going to pray the act of contrition together as a community. And so I know that people have learned a lot of different forms of act of contrition, which is great. So the one that I pray during the penance service, we'll do the echo method, which means I'll say a sentence and then you'll repeat it after me. That way we'll all be praying the same act of contrition, okay? And then we'll pray the Our Father, because that's a prayer Jesus taught us to pray, and then we'll start with celebrating the sacrament. And it is a great celebration, and we're so excited that you're all going to be here. This year, we do ask that everyone who comes to the church, so our second graders, you can bring your brothers and sisters, your grandparents, your parents, but we do ask that everyone who comes to the church goes to see the priest. So if you're a mom and dad or grandma and grandpa and you're like, I'm not really prepared to receive the sacrament, you can go ahead and work on getting prepared. But if you are also maybe somebody who, I prefer to celebrate the sacrament by myself because I get emotional and I don't want my maybe children to see that, that's okay as well. But everybody's going to go in and see the priest so that they can at least say hello to you. They can have one-on-one time with every soul in the church, and you can ask for a blessing, or you can ask them a question, or you can celebrate the sacrament, okay? But then the only people who know whether you celebrated the sacrament or not are you, Jesus, and the priest, okay? So that's a little different this year. And then afterwards, you're going to just select whether you go to for the reconciliation room here, where Father Raju will be, or you're going to go to the reconciliation over here, where Father Ray will be. And we're going to stop for just a minute, and we're going to give you a tour of what it's going to look like when you actually go in those rooms. All right, so now we're going to do a tour of the reconciliation rooms. Okay, on this side, it's going to be Father Ray. You're going to go in the same door that you come out of. You're going to come out of the same door you go into. Pretty simple. So let's go. Let's take a look at this. So you're going to come right in here. The usher's going to say it. And there's going to be 2 chairs just like this, safely distanced. The priest is going to sit here. You're going to sit there because basically you're just having a conversation with Jesus, right? So you're going to do your confession in here. And then when you're done, you've received your absolution, you're going to go right back out this door. And then you're going to go right down here and you're going to go over to the side aisle. And this is where you can do your penance. Because priests often for penance give you prayers, but not always. Sometimes they will give you an action, like an action of kindness. So say you said I was mean to my sister, they might say, I want you to go home this week and do something nice for your sister. But if you have a penance that you can do in the church, do it immediately after your confession, right over here, or wait for the rest of your family to gather together over here, say some prayers of thanksgiving, and then when you're done, you're free to go home. Very simple, okay? Or if you choose to go on the other side to see Father Raju, you're going to go up this way. And it's a little different in here. We have our confessional booth that was designed specifically for COVID, first reconciliations actually. So there's a sign with a screen, and if you notice, if I go behind, you can't see me, right? So that's for those times when you want to maybe talk to the priest without the screen. But we do recommend for little children, like 7 years old, and those just learning how to celebrate the sacrament to go on this side that doesn't have the screen. Why? Because the priest can see you, right? And then he can read your body language, your face, the rest of you if you're getting nervous, and he can help you. Plus, the sacrament is something we should go to with a joyful heart. I know it's hard and it's scary, but you're really going to go get Jesus' love and forgiveness. So it's a great thing. And the priest is going to be sitting in a chair here. You're going to sit right there in that chair, and you're going to say, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. This is my first confession." And then you're going to confess your sins. He's going to give you a penance, and he's going to give you absolution. And then you're going to leave and go out the same door that you came in at, which is right over here. And the priest in both stations will be, as soon as you leave, will be sanitizing the room. So mom and dad, not to worry. We do full safety protocols. Then you're going to come out here just like if you were in the other reconciliation room. You're going to go down the aisle here, and you're going to do your penance, right? And remember, penance isn't payback or punishment. It's how you reconcile your sin with God. Reconcile means to make up. So you're just repairing your friendship not only with God, but with the whole community of his people here in the church. So it's a great thing to do. All right? So we are looking forward to having you come. We are so excited because this is a beautiful sacrament. We love having you come, and it's been such a blessing to have so many parents and grandparents and siblings celebrate the sacrament. And it's something that we should do with great regularity, like once a month. Because why would you want to carry that all around you? Because God doesn't want you to live like that. He doesn't want you to live with burdens and sins. He wants you to live in freedom and joy and peace. So we're excited. Can't wait to see you. If you ever have any questions, you always can give us a call or send us an email, or you can talk to us when we're here. And I will be here, Courtney will be here, Sister will be here, Joan will be here, Father will be here, just for you, to bring the celebration of Jesus and the Holy Sacrament to you for the first time. So get ready, it's coming. See you soon.
I know that God has got a plan for me. Sometimes I gotta just wait and see. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.